Hey, okay, so for my portion of the presentation, I focused on toxicity, side effects, and usage implications for medication for treating people with post-traumatic stress disorder. In the research that I found, there are three very common, or three of the most common medications, which were benzodiazepines, beta blockers, and SSRIs, as far as treating symptoms or alleviating symptoms of PTSD. So I focused my section of the presentation on those three medications. The first being beta blockers, and specifically the beta blocker propranolol. Um, this particular beta blockers in general are extremely effective in treating um, or in alleviating symptoms of PTSD. Specifically, this medication has actually been proven to be the single most effective form for alleviating PTSD symptoms. How that works is that the beta blocker actually works to dull the arousal memory part of the brain. Now, what that means is that the part of the brain that somehow gets disturbed by traumatic events like combat or a bad childhood experience or maybe in a car accident or anything like that, this particular beta blocker works to actually dull that. So when you have a reaction, like you hear a loud noise and it reminds you of maybe something that happened in combat, like a bomb going off or something like that, the response is dulled, so your reaction isn't as strong. So yeah, the beta blocker propranolol, the single most effective medication for treating people with post-traumatic stress disorder. However, like all good things, it does have its side effects. And probably the biggest reason why people don't or are kind of against this medication, they're not necessarily against it, but the biggest problem with it and why people you don't hear about this medication being used to treat PTSD all the time is that the side effects are pretty severe. The beta blocker propranolol has shown to erase positive memories, eliminates them. You completely forget about them. So, like a childhood experience that you had that was actually really nice, or maybe even your wedding or something like that, stuff that happened before the traumatic event happened, you're risking the possibility of that memory being lost. And then these lost memories, again, don't necessarily have to be associated with a traumatic event or part of the arousal memory. Now, there is actually an ongoing debate over the beta blocker propranolol. Some research suggests that a second beta blocker, known as metoprolol, which is this guy right here, it produces less memory loss. Now, the research on that is vague, and it's a little bit, it's not substantiated very highly. So for somebody to actually make that claim right away, well, I mean, they're still doing research. There's a second debate over using propranolol too. Some research suggests that actually giving somebody that drug before they go into the traumatic event. So, like if you want to give it to a combat soldier before they go off to combat, some people are lobbying for that to happen, so it will actually ease the risk, or I mean, not ease the risk, but lessen the risk of actually getting PTSD symptoms. Obviously, the downside of that again are the side effects that come with the beta blocker propranolol. So there you have the beta blocker propranolol for PTSD.